Hi there. Oh, it's 2:22 a.m. as I press record. I'm sitting here working late again. I have a reading on my television while I'm working. I like to have background noise. Started to get a little irritable with my project because I just caught a little moment where it was giving me difficulty. It wasn't like doing what it was supposed to do, right? I'm doing some programming. And it was fine though. I was willing to work through it. I was feeling patient and all that. And then this reader comes on, and I'm not going to say who she is or anything. I don't think I've ever listened to one of her readings before. I don't subscribe to her channel. It just came up in my feed. And she starts to do this reading, and she was like kind of explaining a lot. Like before she even gets into the reading, she was explaining why she had picked some cards ahead of time and that she was going to put them over here on her table. And then she's like, maybe like talking a little bit about how she does her readings and why they're so long and what she likes to do. And then she like feels drawn to one of the pieces of paper that she had taken out from her reading. She goes, "Oh, I have a feeling we're going to want this one very soon. I'm going to place it right here." And I was like just watching, and I was just feeling myself start to get a little annoyed. Like feeling like just get on with it. Like say a thing that actually matters to me. And then like she read one card, and then like she read it twice very slowly, and I was like, ooh, I know I've done that, but I feel really annoyed when she's doing it. So I started to realize, okay, this is a mirror for me. This is something that is poking me in a wound. And I was like, okay. And the wound I've been trying to work on lately is a self-worth wound. I feel like there's something still in here about self-worth, and I honestly wouldn't have really known it was there or looked for it, except for my cards alerted me, because I have had a little bit of solar plexus pain, but I'm sort of, I don't know, it was barely uncomfortable, so I could easily like kind of override it or ignore it, and then I would just kind of bolster myself up a little bit, which I'm in the habit of doing anyway, just like strengthening my energy, reminding myself that I'm strong, lovable, competent, all those things. And but the thing is, I shouldn't have to do that, right? It should be my natural state. It means that I'm kind of trying to offset something that within me that doesn't know that. And I realized, oh, this annoyance that I'm getting is like something that I've done too, right? Like I definitely over explain. I talk about things that are not even relevant to the reading before I start doing the reading. Everything she's doing, I've done. And I start to think about, okay, so why why am I doing stuff like that, and why am I getting annoyed by it? I was like, oh, annoyed. I was like, and then I just realized this layer of my self-worth issue that I'm working on right now has to do with someone being annoyed by me. Yeah. I'm laughing, and I guess it's just another way to move energy, If you're not crying and you are laughing and just moving this energy, because I just felt like a surrender and acceptance, and oh, a yawn is a good sign. So I was going to do a reading anyway, before bed. I didn't know I was going to be working till this late. I thought I might have quit maybe an hour ago, but time just flies when you're having fun. So when I realized that this wound was coming up, I thought I would get on here, because it always helps me to kind of talk it out and get that energy active for myself. I can totally feel it. Like I can feel it coming up my throat. It's like at some point I was annoying to someone and they silenced me. And I can feel like my throat just like a little bit of like salt jaw, even like ready to throw up. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try to remember what that lady was doing on the reading to try to reactivate the feeling within me. Because I want to be present with this feeling. Because I know that is the feeling that I need to process through to release this energy. So I acknowledge that I have an energy within me that is a pain that I have yet to process. And it is around a time when I was annoying to someone. Maybe my father. Maybe other people. Maybe it played over again and again. Yeah, I just kind of got a little pain on that one too. And and as a result, I was kind of suppressed. I suppressed part of myself. Oh, that likes to express. I suppressed a part that likes to express. Okay, and she's sort of in her own world, I think. So not only was I annoying people, it was because they also had expectations of me, right? They expected me to be a different way, but because I wasn't doing anything wrong. This girl in the reading, she wasn't doing anything wrong. She's allowed to read that way. If I'm patient and I'm present, like why wouldn't I just be with her through her little quirky placements of things and over-explaining things? You know, what's over-explaining anyway? It's just a thing that I made up to describe how I was feeling discomfort, but it doesn't mean that's what she's actually doing, right? So that's the case for me too, right? Whenever I annoyed somebody, it doesn't mean that I was actually being annoying. Didn't actually mean something about me, but I took it like it did. I took it like it meant something about me. Yeah, shit, this silenced me for a lot of interactions I would have otherwise had. Wow. Hmm. I do notice that sometimes when I'm closer to my natural expression, some people get really uncomfortable. And it's not because I'm doing anything bad or wrong. It's like I'm too happy for them or something. Too loving, too open. You know, some people really just don't like it. And I don't like it either, actually. Oh my god. Yes, 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 yes. It's like I was safe giving that in some places, but actually, I don't like receiving that either. And that's why I saw that on them. I projected that onto others that they didn't like my being too open and too loving towards them. But what it actually is that I don't like it. Yes, because I have someone in my life who's been expressive of an appreciation of me lately. And I felt myself feeling a little like awkward about it, like a little bit like it's not romantic, you know? So romantic, it's like I have experience dealing with that because, you know, there's other things you can distract yourself with in a romantic relationship. But this is like a friendship or a budding friendship, maybe. And it's too uncomfortable for me to have someone appreciate me. Okay, why is that? I can feel the inside of me is really raw on this topic, so I'm going to dig in here a little bit and see what I see. see what I can find. So, what would be so bad about it if I was being seen and appreciated by others? Oh, they would probably soon get annoyed and then reject me. So it would be like a roller coaster ride, because I would be like happy that we were getting along and they could see me and I was being appreciated, and then dropped on my head because, oh, they didn't really mean it. Oh shit, yes. Okay, so I have internalized the feeling of rejection to such a degree, and the reason why is because it came from the people closest to me, like from my mother mostly. And when I say, rejection came from my mother, and maybe my father as well if I was annoying him, it's because it's nothing about me, but younger me took it that way. What it's about for her is like she's suffering, like in her own stuff, right? She is moody and, she's not present enough to care about how I feel or anything like that, right? We're not attuned. There's no regulation that ever happened between us. Like, I didn't get emotionally regulated until I was an adult and I just started doing the work for myself. So there's never been emotional regulation, so there's never really been connection there. And I'm constantly being bamboozled by her as well, where I'll think everything's all good, going along nicely, and I'll even think of her as a certain way, and then all of a sudden she shows herself to be a different way, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's how you really are. And that's exactly what a child who was dependent on a mother who was emotionally dysregulated would have to do. They would have to ignore the times when the mother was non-responsive, annoyed, angry with them for no reason, just dysregulated. And then they would have to pretend that everything was all fine and kind of only focus on the parts when they were fine. So that's what this is. It's like my operating system is still operating as if I'm a probably infant, wanting to regulate, co-regulate with my mother and being rejected by it. Yeah. So a little bit of the background from me, like I know, my mom, if you meet her, she's a loving, caring person, and you would never know that any of these issues exist. And she really is doing her best, and I think she has a great heart. But, she has her programs and her shadows, and, those are not things that she focuses on to alleviate from herself. She takes a completely different approach to life. And as a result, those patterns still loop in her. And when I was an infant, I was not taken care of by her for the whole infancy. Like, her sister took over for, I don't know if it was like weeks or something, I'm not sure. But that could have been the root cause, right? And later I was put into foster care in my teen years, so it's a loop that played out, just being rejected. And so I think that has definitely played on my self-worth. I heard one of this, maybe like a doctor or therapist or something say, might have been Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, that said something about like when a child is rejected by their parent, like for emotional connection, the child has to, maybe it was Teal Swan, has to think that it was them themselves, because they're still dependent on the parent. That's how they're going to get all their needs met: food, water, shelter, and love. So if they were to demonize the parent, that wouldn't work. So the coping mechanism is to internalize it as my fault, you know? So that's what I'm cleaning up here, is the part of me that internalized the circumstances as my fault, when really it's just the circumstance of, being born to a mother who's stressed out, who has her own patterns, and who hasn't been able to resolve all of them. And, I'm sure some of them she has, over her lifetime. And I think that this is probably something that could happen to a lot of people just by the nature of what our culture is, with mothers working out of the home and all the pressures that are there. I think it would be pretty easy for a mother to be dysregulated and to not know it, and to sort of just not be able to connect on that emotional level, that secure level, I'll say. That secure level. Okay, so this for me stems as an attachment issue, and it's something that has actually played out so many times that I've been re-traumatized by it, that I've recreated the situation again and again and again in things like, annoying somebody so that they react in a way where I say, "Oh, they're not open to me," or "I'm too happy they're not open to me." Whatever the situation is, however I'm being, my perception is they're not open to me. Or if someone else is being a way, I'm not open to it. So the thing is that I have taken that personally, and I've made it mean something about my worth and my value. And it's not true. And so I'm acknowledging that. I'm validating why that happened and all that. I'm accepting that here I am, almost 50 years old, and I still have a little tiny baby wound. I accept this is where I'm at in life. I still have this. And I'm willing to be present with any feelings that want to come up about this. Wow, there's like big energy with this. I can feel like my whole body feels dizzy. Like I feel so dizzy asking this energy to be present with me. So I'm just allowing myself to be. I wasn't really thinking for a moment there, and then I lost the feeling. So I have to like think about it for a minute again and pull it back in. So it's the feeling of not being worthy of my mother's attention, not being worthy of my father's attention, not being worthy of anyone's attention. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Kind of hurts, kind of hurts. Really hurts, actually. Okay. Not being worthy of anyone's attention. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, because okay, so for my project, I need to do some beta testing, and I thought of a couple people that I would ask to do some beta testing. And then when I was about to message them, both times it happened 2 days apart. I just started feeling insecure, like I can't ask this of them. Or for one of them, I just told myself, oh, this must not be the right time because I don't feel good about asking. And then I just like put it aside and never sent the message. And that's me just not feeling worthy of someone's time or like attention, assistance. It's like that part of me feels like they won't care enough to do it. But if they don't want to do it, it doesn't mean that they don't care, you know? There's been plenty of times that I couldn't do something for someone, and it didn't mean that it didn't mean that I didn't care, you know? So it's not that one doesn't mean the other, but that was my fear that was coming up. I didn't realize it until right now, you know? But I'm just noticing all the ways that this has been kind of showing itself to me in my reality. It makes me feel really nauseous, like I just got a wave of nausea. So this energy's like yucky, dark, been there a while, you know. Alright, so that's what it is. That's what I've got to do. I'm probably gonna do a reading right now. Well, it's been 20 minutes, so maybe I should make the reading a separate video. Yeah, I will. But just so you know, I am gonna finish being present with the feeling of this. As I drift off to sleep, I'm gonna let myself process it. And maybe I can finish processing it in my sleep, because this does feel like a big yucky one. Like, you know, it's a self-worth issue though, and certainly will be glad to resolve it. Alright, so that was my share on me working through the root cause of my self-worth issue.